My unit, salute. And then there was one. The final upload of the WrestleMania season. WrestleMania 41 for the year 2025 is officially in the books. But there is still one more show to review. One more show to talk about. And that's Raw 4/21/25. The Raw After Mania. And it would seem, I don't know what happened, if Hunter Hearst Helmsley was planning all along to just have one giant shit fest for WrestleMania and then make everybody forget about it with a really good Raw? Or was this Damage Control? Not with Bayley and Io and Kari, but legit Damage Control. Knowing the backlash they were receiving from WrestleMania, so they had to throw some extra surprises in there last night. I don't know. Perhaps we'll never know. Perhaps it'll be in the new Netflix show Unreal. You know, the new show that Hunter is doing. He's pulling the curtain. He's burning the curtain. The last little bit of kayfabe is officially being stomped out by Hunter Helmsley and Netflix. And now they're literally taking you into the writer's room. Oh, this should be glorious. Every single trick will now officially be exposed in the wrestling business. And for WWE, you'll know how every single decision is made. I always said, when you completely kill kayfabe, wrestling is done at that point. I hope I am wrong, because this will be the final nail in that coffin. This will be the final stomp out of kayfabe. WWE Unreal. But bringing it full circle, maybe we'll find out if this was the plan all along. I don't know. Obviously a good Raw. Usually the Raws after Mania are, right? You have debuts, returns, good matchups. So I'm not surprised. Trust me. But coming off such a bad WrestleMania, and it was. I already see, right? The community is going to start going, well, WrestleMania Night 1 wasn't that bad. 2 had some good moments, but it was just the finish that made it feel like WrestleMania was bad. No, both nights produced nothing I would go back and watch again. Not the main event with the triple threat for Night 1. Not going to happen. Definitely not the main event of Night 2. I'm not going to go back and watch the Lucha Latte versus Rey Fenix. I'm not going to go back and watch the street fight that had nothing to do with a street. No streets were involved with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I'm not going to go back and watch even Io, Rhea, and Belair, who had a really good match. Good wrestlers had a good match. That's always a plus. The boys and gals rocked it out. There was nothing on these 2 shows you ever have to go back again and watch. Joe Hendry was a nice surprise. Caught a couple of RKOs. Stone Cold ran an ATV over a woman's foot. We hope she's doing okay, but I'd never have to see any of this again. Jelly Roll sang the national anthem on the first night. Shawn Michaels introduced and embellished sellout attendance. I don't know what anybody would have to go back and watch any of these nights. 2 nights, which just meant not double the pleasure, double the detriment to WWE. Because it was just 2 extra nights to ask the question, what is this company doing? You come off a season that was non-existent. This WrestleMania season was the worst of all time. And you can bring up WrestleMania 9, 13, 12... any WrestleMania you want. This was the worst season I have ever witnessed. And this will go down as one of, just as I put in that thumbnail in yesterday's upload, it'll go down as one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. When you put everything together, the build or lack thereof, the creative or lack thereof, the booking or lack thereof, and then everything we got over the course of 2 nights. So you come off of that, and then you get what we got last night. The truth is, you want a hot take? Here it is. That Raw was more of a WrestleMania than WrestleMania was WrestleMania. That's the damn truth. That Raw last night was better than anything I saw on Mania 1 and Mania 2, Sat and Sun. Unacceptable. And when Hunter Helmsley tells you with his own words, everybody looks at Mania as a culmination to the new beginning, why can't it just be a stepping stone? Because WrestleMania is not a stepping stone, Stunad. It's not a stepping stone. Mania is that one night, now 2 nights out of the year, where we all come together and are reminded why we fell in love with this shit. We shouldn't be coming out of Manias thinking, what was that? Why am I even watching this crap? And that's what it's been since Hunter has taken over. A lot of people like to compare it to 40. 40 was so good. Not for all of us, bro. There was a lot of us, BC included, that could not stand the lead up to 40 because it was so damn confusing how quickly we forget or are willing to come up with excuses. It was confusing because it was botched. Roman, Rock, keep it simple. Hunter knew this a month in advance. For everybody that just wants to blame The Rock, by the way, and trust me, I am way past him. Stay in Hollywood at this point because now you're just a detriment to the entire company. But if you're letting Hunter off the hook, you're just as much to blame as Dwayne Johnson. Because he knew a month in advance, and Hunter still had Cody Rhodes win the Rumble and then go out there like an idiot, like a biatch, and hand his position over to The Rock. And he thought fans weren't going to have a backlash to that decision? Did you think fans weren't going to go, wait a second, that's stupid, it doesn't make sense, it makes Cody look like an idiot? That was Hunter Helmsley that went about business that way. He knew a month in advance that The Rock was taking on Roman, and that's what he still chose to do. You can't let that dude off the hook. And then WrestleMania 40 was an absolute clusterfuck from there on. Seth Rollins somehow gets involved for no reason. We have this weird tag match with Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman. Now, at least we got one good thing from all of this, right? The Rock putting the whooping on Cody and the whole Cody's mama thing, all that. That was some fun stuff. Other than that, man, that was a weird build. It was all over the place. It was confusing. And it should have been a lot better. It should have felt a lot better. And then for a lot of us, we just had to watch Cody and Roman Part 2. The rematch from the year before. So everybody praising 40, that's your prerogative, that's fine. But don't forget, there was a lot of us where that wasn't it either. So then you get a Raw like this, and you're like, well, come on, man. If you know the formula to make a good show, then make a good show more times than not. Consistency, continuity, symmetry. Good. Take us into the writing room. Maybe I change my mind and I do watch because I want to see what exactly is being talked about so I can rip it even further. Because there's a failure to communicate within those walls. You get a good Raw last night, and I'm supposed to praise this company. Absolutely not. When we get a really good Raw up to the level like that next week, and then the next week, and into Backlash, and going forward, when we start to get shows like that on a consistent basis, you have my word as a critic, not a fan. Hunter has already made that divide, right? You're only a fan if you give them a lot of money and praise and yeet and sing along. If you don't like what you're seeing and you're trying to be vocal about it so you can change it for the better, you are not a fan. We're just critics. Well, as a critic, I will say this. You have my word that when we get shows like we saw last night on a consistent basis, we will start putting the rocket on this company's back in a positive way. No more negatives. I love it. I love the sound of that. I want to be more positive. Let's have more shows like we got last night. But no, that's what happens when you put all the eggs into one basket, when you blow your load on one show. Because if you think we're getting anything near that next week, you got another thing coming. We'll talk all about it. Stephanie, Valkyria, and Io one-on-one. And all I could think was, man, this is amazing. But could you imagine if Julia and Io were rocking out? By the end of that thing, you would actually see that. Of course, that would be ruined by, you know who. We'll talk about it. I don't know why she had to be down there. The second I heard the music, I'm like, oh, here we go. We're going to ruin a good thing. Rusev crush. Becky snaps. Everybody deserves it. You know what I'm talking about. Cena, once again, looking up at the lights. This is getting really lame, man. I'm starting to see a pattern out of nowhere, which I normally wouldn't have a problem with, especially those two together once more. But I'm starting to notice a pattern with John Cena that we gotta relax. We're going to talk all about this. 20 minutes, no lie, 18 and a half. Let's be legit. 18 and a half, but still 20 minutes of yeeting. No bullshit. We're going to talk all about it, guys. It's coming up. Gunther, I looked more like an idiot last night, and I actually like segments like that when they add the commentators. But what do you had 20 minutes to go to Jey Uso. You waited, and then you picked a fight with Mike Cole from commentary. Mike Cole is who you're picking of the commentators. You had 20 minutes and you waited till they were all gone and then came out to pick a fight with Mike Cole. Again, usually I love shit like that, but it's gotta make sense. You can't make the dude look like an idiot, especially the same guy who was a world champion and tapped out in 8 seconds, so he already looked like an idiot coming out of Saturday night. That's your cold open teaser. We're going to talk all about it. Before we get into this show, I got to give a big salute. This is the last upload, last review of WrestleMania season. So we got to get all up in our feels for a second just so I can say salute and thank you to every single one of my amplified unit. If you caught one upload this season or if you caught them all, you guys made this season so damn special. Even at the dimmest of times when this company was producing just garbage television, nothing made sense. The excitement for WrestleMania was negative 125 decimals. And you guys still showed up, showed out. We talked about it. We were vocal about it. We were hoping they would change. We were hoping they were going to hear us. But we still continued to put up that battle, that fight. Try to make WrestleMania great again. Try to make WWE great again. Try to make pro wrestling great again, man. That was the mission statement this whole Mania season, as it has always been on this channel. But you guys made this Mania season, even though it wasn't one of the more exciting ones because of what the company was doing. You guys made it special. And you guys made it memorable. And I'll go a step further. This weekend alone, this weekend's content, with the streams and the regular uploads, accumulated over 120,000 views. Over 120,000 views this weekend's content here on the channel. Not bad for a little ECW channel, the Outlaws, the Rebels, the controversial channel over here. Not too bad, right? Controversial. A little too amplified, yeah, maybe, but a hell of a lot of people came by the channel because they needed to hear what BC and the unit was talking about. It's when you know you got a special thing going on here, man, and I want to thank you guys big time. Yesterday's upload, wow, that response. I was burnt out maybe from just a lot of work because you guys remember, man, it's outside of the wrestling world. I need about 34 hours in a day, and they only give you 24. And that's with everything outside of the wrestling world, let alone everything that I was doing for this channel. I was probably burnt out a little more than I would lead on. So what you got yesterday before the review, the good, the bad, and the ugly of WrestleMania, and the CBO, Chief BS Officer, Triple H, as William Regal would say. That press conference was honestly just to entertain a party of one. I was burnt out. I just wanted to entertain myself at that point. WrestleMania was so damn bad. I was like, you know what? It's just Hunter Hearst Helmsley and his pressers are hilarious to me. I mean, he is literally the chief. And I don't even mean this in a bad way. It's hysterical. He is a master chef at bullshit. I mean, he's the Michelangelo, the Beethoven. He just has a symphony of bullshit. And when he opens his mouth, just sit back, max relax while he drops anything but the facts. Because he just is in left field with a hockey stick. It's hilarious to BC. I said, you know what? I got to just run through WrestleMania's numbers, man. Have a little bit of fun. So that was honestly like I always do things on the channel. I'll give you guys a little heads up, man. It's usually just for my entertainment purposes. I go into business for myself. Cheesehead Charlie for any veteran subscribers. Been here from day one. Cheesehead Charlie 2.0. All those characters, man. It's to entertain myself. And the fact that you guys like really love it and enjoy it on top of that, that's like, yeah, that's like the whipped cream, the cherry. That's everything on top, man. That just makes it extra special. But you guys really fucking... You guys really were digging that press conference in yesterday's review for WrestleMania Night 2. Taking a step back and thinking about it, I'm like, all right, that was really funny. I will admit. In real time, when I'm doing it again, I'm just trying to pop myself, man. I'm like, you know what? That's going into the upload. I don't even care, man. That's funny to me. So... yeah, man, just times like that, man. I'll always treasure from this season. You guys made it so damn special. So, yep, I just had to take a few minutes because this is the last upload of Mania season. So we're going to finish this the right way, just like we started it and throughout, no matter how burnt out we were. Amplified. 44 die. We're rolling, man. I don't care if it's the last one. We're going to give it full amplification. Raw 4/21/25, the go-home show. No, the go... What am I talking about? The post. Oh, no, I don't want to do this Mania season again, man. Please, not the... oh, no, we ain't doing this. We already went through WrestleMania. That's it. We don't have to do that again. The post-Mania show. And again, they put everything into it. I wish half of this was put into WrestleMania. Let's talk about it. John Cena started it off. And by the end of this segment, be looking up at the lights. So John Cena starts this show, runs down the crowd for approximately 15 minutes. It was a pretty good countdown to this. I really like how they did this. They have the lights dimmed out to just black, you know, just showing John Cena's new demeanor, his mood, right? Not all these colorful things, it's just black. And there's the number, almost like you would see with The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, how it's up there on the LED boards in huge numbers. But it's his dates. 36 is what he's starting with. And so... he's like, you guys have no idea how fast time flies. And he starts running down the dates that he's already done. And it's a lot, man. 36 goes to, up on the board, they're showing it as he's naming off the cities. 36 goes to 35, 34, 30. I think that they're at like 26 or 27 left, something like that. So they're already into the 20s. I mean, he's knocking off dates. And he's like, and don't forget, that's not wrestling. That's just me showing up. That counts as a date in my contract. So Vegas boos him, and he's like, yeah, good. He goes, you claim I can't wrestle? The beautiful thing is I don't have to. It was really good, man. But Cena usually is on the stick, so I guess I shouldn't be too shocked. But I really like how they put the numbers up on the board and just talked about how it's like a countdown. And he's counting down those dates, and when it gets to 0, he's taking that title. And the last real champion is riding off into the sunset. John Elway, Super Bowl 32 over my Green Bay Packers. An absolute heartbreaker because it was against my Packers. But John Elway took that Lombardi trophy, and he never stepped foot on a football field as a player again. He ran off as a champion. And that's what Cena wants to do. A big fuck you to the fans. Does he do that? Retire as champion? That's a pretty cool story, huh? Or does somebody end up taking that title, pass the torch, and maybe they can get a rub? I don't know. Nobody has been able to get that rub yet who's beaten Cena in a big match. Solo Sikoa Crown Jewel annihilated Cena. Not just beat him, annihilated him. Solo is no more than a mid-carder right now. That's at best. I'm being generous. The feel, how he's being booked. And that's Hunter Helmsley. Cena did the ultimate deed for Solo, got annihilated, and Helmsley then put Solo on a 41-match losing streak, almost to say fuck you to John Cena as well as Solo. I don't know what that was about. You follow up annihilating Cena with a 41-match losing streak. But not just that, at WrestleMania, he lost against Austin Theory. And we saw how Helmsley botched, ruined, powerbombed Austin Theory into irrelevancy. cashing in a Money in the Bank on a mid-card title in the middle of Raw and losing. And then just making him a sidekick and totally irrelevant. Most people don't even know if he's still with the company. That's what I mean. So if Cena's going to pass the torch and put that title on somebody before he leaves, you better do this the right way, man. This is a monumental moment. Otherwise, just have him leave with the championship. That's a much more fun story. Vacate it, put it up in a damn battle royal, whatever you got to do. Now, this would end with Randy Orton sneaking up from behind, delivering an RKO. I'm sure people are going to flip out. Oh, my goodness, we get to see Cena, Randy, one more time. Okay, I mean, we've seen this 1,416 times, guys, over the course of years. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to rip this apart for sure. It's his final farewell. He wants to work with people. Maybe even we'll get a Punk match where Cena... But I'm not getting ecstatic with it, man. Cena versus Randy Orton in 2025. Okay. I doubt very much he's going to take the title for... All of this can't be just to give the title to Orton, right? Who knows? But he's looking up at the lights. My concern here is that because Cena is very limited because of all his movie productions and everything he has filming. I mean, you saw the match with Cody. He was ultra limited in what he could do. So he is just showing up and doing some promos, and I think Cena is thinking, if I just take somebody's move, that'll make everybody just happy. I'll talk a lot of trash, and then I'll look up at the lights, so I'm kind of paying it forward while I leave for another month or two. And this is starting to seem very redundant, man. Cody took him out twice with 2 crossroads. He's looking up at the lights. Randy Orton drops him. I'm starting to see this pattern where Cena has a really good promo, and then he gets hit with somebody's finisher, and he's looking up at the lights, knocked out. Cuts a really good promo, takes the finisher, up, looking up at the lights, knocked out. Talks a good promo, dropped on his dome piece, looking up at the lights. Just be careful. I mean, eventually, you're going to have to get more creative than this. Especially if you want to do Randy Orton, John Cena. I hope it's not just every time he shows up, he's just eating an RKO. Good news is, if they do this at like Backlash, that's only in a couple weeks. So I doubt you're even going to see John Cena until Backlash, if that's the case. Anyway, that's how we started this thing. All right. I mean, it's John Cena on the microphone as a heel. So I'm here for it. Morgan and Raquel versus Lyra and Becky. This is a rematch for the titles. This was so odd. Why? Why are they getting a rematch? Okay. It's just very odd, right? Right from the jump. It's just like, hey, remember the match you just saw? You're getting it again. All right. So right there, you knew there was obviously going to be new champions. But what's the purpose? I told you guys on Mania weekend that Becky's coming back because they want to set up Lyra and Becky. I didn't think they were going to do it this quick. Because we had new tag team champions last night, just as I thought. That's the only reason you'd be doing this that quick. Liv hits Oblivion on Lyra, and Lyra took this like the champ that she is. Bounced off her dome piece. You truly believed she'd be out for 46 seconds. She took that so damn good. And Liv Morgan and Raquel have the championships back. This match was better than their Mania match. No shit. If you didn't see it, check out the Raw match. If you do remember the WrestleMania match, which I don't blame you if you've already forgotten it. But trust me when I say, this match is better than their Mania match. Easily, hands down. Not even close, actually. Post-match, we'll grab even a bigger headline than new champions, believe it or not. Becky Lynch turns on Lyra Valkyria. Turns on her, snaps on her, man. Just starts wailing away, goes to walk away, comes back, picks her up, wails on her some more. I think she took 2 manhandle slams. And I'm sure some people are going to be kind of hard on Lyra's acting, because Lyra, instead of just like selling and being knocked out, she's like kept on like kind of looking up like, "Et tu, Brute? How could you do this?" But like, you guys have to remember the story that they have, and it's very like, I usually just don't jump into history, right? There has to be layers on top of just what you've done in the past. But this is one of those wrestlers that literally got into wrestling, Lyra, because of Becky. Role model wouldn't do it justice, those words. Looking up to Becky doesn't do it. That's not even in the realm of just scratching the surface. Lyra, if Becky says jump, Lyra would say how high. So I like that she wasn't just selling from the jump knocked out. Like, she was trying to, like, comprehend it, like, she couldn't even get to her feet. She was so stunned. And every time Becky would come up, she's like, what are you doing? And Becky just started wailing away more, like, preying on that confusion and insecurity and shock. So in that instance, I am absolutely okay with Lyra not selling as if she was knocked out. And eventually she would, by the way. After that second manhandle slam, she was looking up at the lights with that aerial shot. She was over the WWE logo on the canvas, just out. You would have thought she just got hit by a Mack truck. A giant cement ball just ran her over. I mean, she was just... Yeah, so I think that was played off very well. Her acting could have been a little better while she was like, really? But after seeing Pat McAfee's acting last night, Lyra gets an easy pass. So Becky Lynch already completes the turn and snaps, and it looks like you'll be getting Becky taking that IC championship from Valkyria. And that's a shame, not because it's going to Becky, but because Lyra never had a real title reign. I mean, Mania, the biggest stage of the year, and her championship is irrelevant. They're like, yeah, we'll book you in some weird tag match. What about her title? So if this goes to Becky, which obviously it's going to, because didn't Lyra also, you want history, Lyra beat Becky in NXT for the World Championship, correct? Or for the World Championship, something like that. I believe Lyra beat Becky in NXT. So there's even more history. So Becky really has a lot of reasoning. And then it was Lyra who just lost them the tag titles after just 24 hours. I don't know. I thought this was well done, and I see, Becky as a heel, yes, please. Be a lot less cringe. You want to talk about the late... Oh, no. I was going to go into Io and Stephanie. Not yet. New Day. New Day was out. And Rusev crush. Odd way to put it, Rusev, but what a moment. It started with New Day and Alpha Academy. The match never happens. Rusev comes to the ring. That's right, Rusev, not Miro. Some fans are probably upset with that, but let's be honest. What the fuck is a Miro? You know what I mean? That never got established in AEW. I don't even know what happened with Miro in AEW. There's got to be more to that story. That was so weird. So Rusev is back now. It has to be Rusev. Again, there's more equity in the name Rusev than Miro. There's so much trademark and everything that's been tied up in the Rusev name, man. All those trademarks. There's no way that you would just have him come back and plant the name Miro on him. So I have no problem with that at all. He had to come back as Rusev. The Accolade Crab is on Otis. He absolutely destroys Tozawa. Accolade Crab on Otis. Otis is tapping out but realizes it's not a match, so then he's just like in agonizing pain. So it's pretty big. I don't know what it says. I guess he's a heel, but the crowd is all like, yeah, because they haven't seen him in a while. Not in WWE anyway. 5 years, I believe. And even in AEW, I don't think you've seen him for an entire year. So fans are cheering, but it's Otis and Tozawa getting absolutely destroyed. So, but that doesn't say much because the Vegas was so heavy behind Dominic Mysterio, who every crowd loves to boo, and that's what makes it fun. So I don't know why Vegas all of a sudden anointed Dominic Mysterio Stone Cold Steve Austin for a weekend. So Rusev Karash, yes, And then the surprises kept coming because Io Sky is in the ring next, and Stephanie Bakir comes out. Oh, BC was like, are you kidding me? Are they going to do this? And then I started to think, imagine if Julia was there, and she was. And that's with my girl, Roxanne Perez, by the way, Roxy. But we'll get to that. So Io and Stephanie are set up, and they're about to go. Io's like, you want me? You want the best of the best? Right now. And Pierce comes out. I thought this was a great troll job because Pierce is like, hold on. And the whole crowd is booing him because we know he's about to say, not here, Backlash, France, or whatever. And the crowd's booing him, and he's like, no. I just want to make sure it's what Vegas wants to see. So I thought that was pretty well done. Io and Stephanie ring the bell. Jessica Carr is the referee for this match. So I was all in on this. Pat has no idea who Stephanie is. Can't even pronounce the name. He's like, Stephanie vacuum. Michael Cole's like, Vakir. Yeah, her. Steph. Pat McAfee has no clue, man. Poor guy shows up. Michael Cole tries to fill him in every Monday night, but he doesn't know. He's a fan, but like he's got so much going on that he doesn't know who's who. Stephanie Oh, Pat. But this was such a good match. Obviously, you don't need BC to tell you that. Roxanne Perez and Julia interfere. Yes, let's go. Roxy obviously has a match with Stephanie. I think that's tonight, no? On NXT television. And so Roxanne takes out Steph, and then Julia takes out Io. And I'm thinking, oh, Julia, Io, keep them going. And then all of a sudden, this is my brutality. Here comes Rhea Ripley to ruin it all. And BC's like, come on. Why is Rhea Ripley needed in this? Isn't there a sale at Hot Topic? Spencer's something. Why is Rhea? This has nothing. Look at the ladies in this ring. Julia, Stephanie, Roxy, Io. And then Rhea. One of these five doesn't belong. You don't need to do Steiner math. It's Rhea. And when it was all said and done, Stephanie's an afterthought, Julia's an afterthought, Roxy's an afterthought. I don't even know where they all went. And it's just Rhea and Io, and Rhea's handing the title to Io. Oh, we're going to have a one-on-one, and that's how Rhea's going to get her championship back. If all of this, giving the title to Io just to get her into Mania, because they thought they could easily send Rhea in, but the crowd was like, no, this is unacceptable, it doesn't make sense, and she's not just going to cry her way into the match. So WWE received much justified backlash. They put her in the match anyway, and now they think, okay, we'll just wait an extra month and we'll give the title to Rhea. All of this can't be just to hand it back to Rhea Ripley. Maybe in the future, absolutely. But for right now, go back to the Hot Topic, chill. There's always new merchandise every single Tuesday. And come back in the future and maybe you can get that championship back. But with all this talent and all these ladies and all this like interesting thoughts creatively going through all our dome pieces, and here comes brutality, Rhea Ripley. I was like, come on, man. Everything else, that was good, man. Wow, I couldn't even believe some of that. Io Stephanie, Io Julia, Roxy's in there, man. I was like, yes. And then I got to get another swig because then we yeeted for 20 minutes, 18 and a half minutes. A video package played for Jey Uso. Where was this before Mania? Maybe they did play it. There was only 26 hours of kickoff, pregame, pre-show. Of course, I didn't watch any of that. So maybe they did play that, but they played this video package, man. And, you know, just like, I mean, Jey Uso's whole journey. And this is going to be amplified truth. It's a hard pill to swallow, I understand, but this is going to be amplified truth. Jey Uso works for that live crowd because they yeet. We know that. He doesn't work with a ton, and dare I say the majority of the IWC, which actually is the majority of your fan base. It's not those showing up in arenas, believe it or not. Right? We always like to think of the IWC just this small microcosm of the grander. It's larger than that. Because I'm also including those that are not necessarily part of the internet themselves. It's just a lot of the hardcore fans that watch via television every single week. Or come back, even casuals. So I extend just IWC. So, and I brought this up several times this week. You know, when Hunter Hearst Helmsley says, you know, we have focus groups, and they were going around arenas and they hear all the yeeting, and that's why we decided to go with Jey Uso. And then to hear Vince Russo go in the Attitude Era, that was not the first metric. We went by the ratings, the quarterlies, the minute by minutes. We wanted to see what was captivating the majority of the world, what was working. And then we go through the crowd and see what sticks. Where's the consistency, continuity, and symmetry? Because then you know it's working. But Hunter just bypasses any numbers, metrics, ratings, anything like that. Doesn't care. He just in the arena. And then he shouldn't be shocked when all the numbers are going backwards. The ratings, the metrics. All the numbers are going backwards as we get closer to Mania. Well, dude, you're just playing for the house. You're putting all your eggs into the crowd that is in attendance, the live attendance in that basket. You can't do that. So yeah, they're going to yeet for 20 minutes. They're going to sing along with Seth. They're going to go, oh, they're going to do all the stuff. But don't forget, everybody that's watching elsewhere, don't be shocked that we're not invested in this, because to us, it's Jason Uso, the tag team guy. Sorry, not sorry. Even after all of this, you're not convincing us otherwise. The Rumble victory, the WrestleMania victory, 8-second tap out over Gunther to win the world title, and we're still saying the same thing. It's Jason Uso, the tag team guy. And I can say that because, A, I'm a critic, no longer a fan. Yay me. Thank you, Hunter, for freeing us all. And number 2, I can say that because that's always been my fave tag team, the Usos. Huge supporter of that tag team. So I've always watched them vividly, and they just work so well. They're one of the best tag teams I've ever seen. And again, my fave. As a singles wrestler, Jason Uso isn't that good. He's not. It's actually really bad. His arsenal is that of a Superman. He's Jey Uso, but he wrestles as if he's Roman Reigns or Hulk Hogan. Spears. And they're some of the worst looking spears you'll ever see. He probably tries to do Superman punches. I'm not sure, but it's some bad wrestling. Dude's exhausted. You can see that. He's going at like 70% pace. When he's in a tag team, he goes 90 some odd plus because he can easily do a hot tag, catch his breath. It's so different. As a singles wrestler, it ain't working for a lot of us. And on top of that, we got to watch 20 minutes of yeeting every week. It's exhausting. It's nauseating for a lot of us. So that's where the problem is. You know, I had to give that assessment because now it's post-Mania. He's already won the title. And people probably go, well, BC, now what do you feel about it? Same fucking way. I was never going to change that because it's a feeling we get or don't get in this scenario. And that's what happens when you cater and play to one aspect and totally say off or pay no attention to the other aspect. It only works when the live crowd and the TV crowd, or IWC or whatever you want to call it, it only works when those two entities totally agree that's the dude, that's the gal. Then you know it's a recipe for success. But when it doesn't work out that way and you alienate one whole half and tell them if you don't like it, you're not a real fan, fuck off. Exact words of Hunter, by the way, fuck off. Cool. When you do that, don't be shocked that we're still no video variety. They try to get you up in your feels with a really good video package, by the way. Much love, much respect to Jason Uso in his journey. But I'm not here for participation trophies. I don't watch pro wrestling so Jey Uso can feel better, or that we can give Jey Uso the utmost of love. I'm trying to watch pro wrestling because there's nothing like it. I need it to be the best that it possibly can be. So you had a good video package. Okay, that doesn't change the fact that Jey Uso as a singles wrestler is not good. In fact, bad. I'd watch Ultimate Warrior matches before Jason Uso. That's bad. So he's out there and he's yeeting and the music stops. He's about to talk. You deserve it. Right? Of course, every champion. Doesn't even matter if you're a heel. You deserve it. And then the music plays again. So we start yeeting again for 5 minutes. Samuel Zayn comes back. Sami Zayn starts yeeting. I don't know what Sammy was doing out there. This was so bad. Like if somebody walks in and say, hey, what are you watching? And they look and you got Sami Zayn trying to yeet and dance with Jey Uso. I mean, you feel less better about yourself, don't you? You start to question what you're doing with your Monday night, what you're doing with your life. You have thousands of people going, right? They're waving their arms like and then Sammy's out there. This was the most cringiest dancing I've ever seen, and I've been to a lot of like really bad like weddings and stuff, and yeah, just picture the dance floor. It's not a pretty sight. But whatever Sami Zayn was trying to do out there, wow, you gotta cut the segment, go backstage, do whatever you gotta do. But you can't put Sami Zayn's dancing on camera. And they just yeeted for 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden, Jim Uso, Big Jim comes out, man. And then they yeet for another 5. And then they all go to the back finally. And then they cut to the broadcast team. And Pat and Michael are like, wow, this is fucking amazing. It's a Yeet Mania. I put in my notes right here. I put right here in my notes. You ready for this? I put fucking nauseating. Because this is every week. This is what we're gonna get, man. Every fucking week. So that the live crowd can yeet and we at home have to just sit back and go, oh boy. All right. 20 minutes. Save yourself. Just go out. Just jump off the balcony, feet for head. It doesn't fucking matter. Just jump. Go play in traffic. Pick up a bad habit. Go do what you gotta do. It's gotta be better than this. Oh, BC's had a lot of coffee this weekend. New TV show, Unreal. No, that's what it's called, Unreal. It's a new TV show. They've made a swig of coffee. You guys got to hear this. I can't believe it, but I can, but I also still can't. They made a show literally to follow around a Helmsley in the writer's room. So Helmsley can't compete anymore, right? So he still tries to be the star, right? I mean, this whole Mania was built around him. He made himself the face of the company, even though he's just supposed to be on headset in Gorilla. But he just wants to play super. We saw more interviews. We saw more of Hunter Helmsley than any talent this entire WrestleMania season. How sad is that? So now that Mania is done, you kind of were hoping, okay, can he just give it like a few months of rest? No. If he can't go to the cameras because he can't wrestle anymore and Mania is now over and his Hall of Fame is done, he's having the cameras come to him. He's going to be the star of a new show called Unreal, where now the cameras go into the writing room. This was the last piece of kayfabe. The one place you just don't go into the writer's room and have a whole show about it because, dude, there's some things that we shouldn't know. We shouldn't be partaking in, right? There's knowing about something to a fun degree, right? Like, oh man, like this is happening, or did you hear the breaking news? And you're still gonna watch. It's still gonna be fun. Now you gotta see it. And then there's pulling back or completely tearing down, burning the curtain to the point of a detriment. Like you see how all of this was done and you're like, oh man, I don't even want to think of that. You know, like the clip that they showed where Hunter is telling Jey Uso, listen, I'm gonna put the entire rocket on your back. We're gonna put the company rocket on you. And Jey Uso's like, okay, Us, can I go? Jey Uso's like, all right. You know what I mean? Like, Jay's not really, like, he doesn't really get too far ahead of that. So he's like, okay. But it's like, why are we treating this like it's after a movie and you're getting all, like, the bloopers and, like, the behind the scenes. It's like these shows ending with credits like Paul Levesque McMahon and Lee Fitting, and it's like, dude, you're taking away from the spontaneity of it, right? Spontaneity? Stephanie Vacuum, right, Pat? You're taking away from that, like, suspending the disbelief, or what I call suspending belief. You're in this wild world of wrestling. Something really big is happening. It's a cliffhanger. You're about to fade to black and go off the air. And then credits pop up. And you're quickly reminded, oh, no, it's all just staged. It's all funny. They're going to take a picture with each other at dinner later. Hunter's going to show us how it was all made on WWE Unreal next week. Don't worry, he didn't really just get thrown off the bridge. He's eating dinner with the guy that threw him off over at the Longhorn Steakhouse. Right? 7 days later, they're showing you how they set it all up. So this is how we had Austin Theory go over the bridge here, and this is how Grayson Waller did it. And is anything protected anymore in this business? Does anybody care about any semblance of preserving disbelief, preserving a little portion of kayfabe, preserving any semblance of wonder, true wonder? You can't even have a cliffhanger these days because they're too busy exposing how everything was done. Unreal. I was already pissed off at LFG. Right? I mean, I saw one clip, I was done. It was like a commercial. Undertaker showing the wrestlers how to punch, but then cueing in the crowd. Undertaker's like, now when you punch, give it a moment because you're going to hear the crowd go, oh, and then you punch, and then they're going to go, ooh, and then, oh, and then, ooh. And I'm like, whoa. Now it's cringy, right? This is just cringeworthy television. This isn't just a fun, oh, we're exposing the business, we're pulling back the curtain. This is like, it's just cringe, man. And I'm not shocked that it's Hunter Helmsley that is completely willing to just burn down that curtain. Just burn it down. You know, if this was Wizard of Oz and Dorothy and the Lion and the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, they all go into the you know, where Oz is, you wouldn't even have to, like, there wouldn't be a mystery of who's behind the curtain. The curtain would already be down, and there's the dude with all the controls. There's Hunter Helmsley. He wants to take you inside of the writer's room. What is left? There's nothing more. The business has been exposed to the point where it truly can never be what it once was. Like, I know it's been that way for a while, but instead of keep going and digging more of a hole into that ditch, why not try to fill it and just try to get out of it and fill the hole? Sometimes it's never too late to just try to just get out of it. Instead, they're like, the train's already off the track. Let's just keep riding it. Collect as much money as possible. And then when it's time, when it's totally in the ditch and it can't get out, we'll just jump off. We'll jump off the ship before it sinks. I told you guys, within 2 years, I see Hunter Helmsley gone. He's collecting the cash now. He's totally exposing the business. He's sabotaging it, whether conscious or subconscious. He's sabotaging the business. Does not care. Look at the Manias that we're getting. Look at the Mania seasons. He doesn't care. He lined his pockets this weekend. 2 years, I give it. He's done. Endeavor already sold over to Silver Lake. Who knows where the company's going to be in 2 years? Hunter Helmsley has about 2 years. I want to say that's a good thing. Finally, just get out. But is there anything going to be left in 2 years? Or is Helmsley completely with Endeavor, Silver Lake, TKO, bringing all the fancy little ownership? Are they all going to have it so far into the ditch that you can't even dig it out? Because right now, they're doing everything in their power to ruin professional wrestling. It's not Jonathan Cena. It's Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Endeavor Silver Lake. That's who's doing it. Not The Rock. Not John Cena. Hunter Helmsley, Endeavor Silver Lake. If you think I'm watching WWE Unreal, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't going to happen. I have no interest in helping to destroy this business any further. this industry, just to line their pockets so that Netflix feels good, right? Netflix spent all this money. They're like, dude, we need some interesting, innovative content. And Hunter Helmsley's like, yeah, let's do it. Cameras are going to be on me? Awesome. Oh, boy. And then Gunther attacks the commentator team. What the You just had 20 minutes to go out there and attack Jey Uso. You let Jey Uso just go. And this was before Sammy was out there, before Jimothy Uso. He waits till he's gone. And then he comes out to pick a fight with Mike Cole. Little Mike Cole from the commentary team. What do you do? You just tapped out in 8 seconds. You totally wanted nothing to do with Jey when he was out there for 20 minutes, 18 and a half. And then you pick a fight with the littlest person in the arena, Mike Cole. And so Pat McAfee has to try to come to his aid. So Mike Cole, first of all, gets a little bit of a chokehold. Pat McAfee comes over. Pat McAfee gets a chokehold. I usually love this when you add in the commentators. Makes for some fun television, right? It's intriguing. It's been done so many times, but not enough. I love it. But you have to do it correctly, man. Like have Gunther go out there when Jey is out there. Instead of yeeting for 20 minutes, have Gunther look like he wants to get at Jey. And enough people are out there like, no, you're not doing this tonight. And they're trying to talk to Jey. Jey, you know, you had your celebration. Please go to the back, man. This is not the time. And Jey finally obliges, holds up his title, walks out with Sammy and Jimmy. Gunther's pissed off at ringside. Then he goes over to Mike Cole because he overhears Mike Cole saying something. Guys, I just thought it's not in my notes. I'm coming up with that top of my dome piece just to make Gunther look a little bit more badass. After what happened on Saturday, you have to. Instead, Gunther comes out after Jey's already been out there, and he's talking to Mike Cole. And then Pat McAfee gets locked into the chokehold for a long time. Finally, Gunther leaves. And instead of like everybody going, whoa, the crowd's chanting, you tapped out. That's how bad it was on Saturday, guys. 8 seconds. Somebody who should be a diabolical heel tapped out in 8 seconds. People are not going to forget about that. Choking the commentators is not going to make people forget about that. And again, I say this liking that segment. It just needed to be tweaked to where Gunther looks more badass. Now he just looks more like a coward. He waited till Jey was gone, and then he attacks the commentators. You have to make it make sense, but make your wrestler look as badass as imaginable in a segment like that. Man, when he walked away, people are just going, you tapped out. They didn't care. Pat McAfee, horrible acting. Pat McAfee's like, whoo, woo. He's high-fiving fans on the way out. I'm not even, guys, if you saw it, you know. If you didn't, if you ever got a moment to laugh, watch after the attack. Pat McAfee's like, whoa. Whoa, he's like patting the chest of Adam Pearce. He's, whoa, that was a choke, man. Whoa. High-fiving fans. Meanwhile, like people around him are trying to really make it seem more serious. It was so bad, man, the acting of Pat McAfee, but it is what it is. In totality, I didn't mind the segment. You have to tweak it to where Gunther was trying to get at Jey Uso first. But is that even going to help? I don't know, man. Such a deep hole was dug Saturday when he tapped out in 8 seconds. There's no other way to put it, guys. It's just such a big hole to dig out of. That's just the way that I'll put it, man. Saturday was so detrimental to Gunther. Losing to Jey Uso, first of all, for the world title, the way that he did in 8 seconds. And they thought that if you take out the commentator team, we're out of the hole. We're good. Everybody's going to be like, damn, that was amazing. Gunther's back. Not even close. The IC Championship was up next. Penta versus Dirty Mysterio. Take a fucking shower, Dirty Mysterio. Why? Why have this match? Vegas has been having an orgasm for Dirty Mysterio this whole weekend. So why put Penta in front of a crowd that's going to be 50-50 split or even 75-25 Dominic Mysterio? Why? Why put face Penta in there with this type of Dominic Mysterio with that crowd? This is just so bad. McDonald's would return. He helps Mysterio pin Penta. This whole thing, man. You deserve it for heel Mysterio. Anointing Mysterio as the next Stone Cold. Come on. I'm not buying into it, guys. That's all I'm saying about it. I don't know where we're going with this Dominic Mysterio thing. It's fun when he's being booed out of the building. He just needs that good creative to get behind it. And because Dominic Mysterio should not be a face right now. So all of this, you deserve it, and exploding for Dominic Mysterio, hopefully that's just the WrestleMania crowd. And hopefully now Hunter, he put a title on him, will now give him good creative. Main event segment was reserved for Rollins and Heyman's promo. CM Punk to the ring. He's destroyed by Rollins. A little help from Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns comes to the ring. Roman spears Rollins, and then Roman Superman punches Heyman. Braun Breaker hits the ring, spears Roman twice, once through the barricade, and the show ends with the New Dangerous Alliance staring at the hard cam. If you guys remember years and years and years ago, that many, yes, back in WCW, Paul Heyman had a faction called Dangerous Alliance. He used to have a really big Zach Morris phone, and he was the leader of a group. We know how good Heyman is with Lesnar or Roman or Punk, just individuals. There's also been some that he did that did not work out, and he probably knew it wasn't going to, but he probably took one for the team. I won't name those individuals, but there was actually several where it didn't work out. But he's really good as like a Heenan family type of manager as well. Wise man, advocate. A faction led by Paul Heyman. That's interesting. Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, maybe just a tad piques the curiosity if done correctly, and because it's attached to Paul Heyman, there's a better chance of it. The right Paul is behind this. So it's an interesting concept. Are they trying to get this to like a Braun Breaker Roman Reigns feud instead of Fatu Roman? It looks that way. Tag team match obviously will come first. CM Punk and Roman will set aside their differences and take on Seth and Braun. So this is what I hope doesn't happen. This is all just to lead to a bunch of tag matches, right? That's the new pro wrestling. When you have factions, it's just a bunch of random, nonsensical, boring tag matchups or 6-man tags. That's not what a faction should be for, man. It should be to elevate television to get to the one-on-ones at the PLE's pay-per-views. But that's another conversation for another day. For now, that's how the show goes off the air, man. Just the hard cam, the New Dangerous Alliance. I'm just putting that name on there. I don't think Paul wants to restart that name. Paul is all about the future, not going into the back. So, going backwards. So, he doesn't even like talking about ECW. So, interesting. All in all, man, this was the WrestleMania. WrestleMania sucked. Let's just call it what it is. It sucked. Nobody's going back to watch any of it. It sucked, for the most part anyway. Most. So, this was WrestleMania. And, I'm not going to go overboard and start praising it because I know next Monday it's right back to the status quo, unfortunately. But for this night, at least there was a lot to talk about that wasn't just us powerbombing everything we saw into oblivion. And that's going to conclude Mania season here on the channel. Again, I thank you guys so much. It has been a wild ride. You guys made this Mania season unforgettable. Not this company, not these shows that WWE was producing. These shows, you, my unit. You made this so damn special. So to conclude it, put them up. Thank you guys. We will do it all again next year, next January. In fact, I like to start in November Mania season, brainstorming and all that. So we'll do it all again, man, in the not so distant future. Until next time.